Alright, the following is a report from the Orgasm Liberation Front Non-Silent Action in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 1995. There's some commentary before the action, I'm not going to read that, and then the commentary after and challenges by officials of the official parade marshal types. Alright, so I guess I'll read the commentary before the action. Okay. Plan to march alone nude except for funny face over my dreaded genitals, chanting orgasm cries over my zine-funded hell-raising loudspeaker. Chant slogans such as, quote, "Consenting humans, don't be shy, let me hear your orgasm battle cry," and various other creative voicings of sexual pleasure. Imagine the joy, the giggles, red faces, guffaws of assimilating type fags watching this youthful-looking dude, me, bouncing, wending, jumping, dancing around in gay pride marches all over the country. I prime myself by marching in San Francisco 1992, Boston, New York, and Washington, D.C. My idea is to appear suddenly somewhere every year. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, I could do a little background, but I think I'm going to pass on that. I was coming out of a place that I lived at where these people were getting more and more hyped up based on some drawings I had that were not very, that were quite innocuous is the word, and they were getting pretty hyped up towards me, and I wanted to come out to them directly, but they were so threatening that I decided to wait till I left. Anyway, okay, so commentary after the action. Dude, what a tiny turnout on that rainy day. Marched with a fellow non-silent activist, and it turned out to be a fun venture in the crucial ways of being in this world. My friend Pat was glad to mischievously hand out our strategic little flyer, a poem called Because, while I worked and played via orgasm cries on my loudspeaker, calling very loudly such sighs as mentioned above. The most important thing about this strategy is that those onlookers whose psychological armor usually goes straight up, no matter how queer they are, when boy lovers march, doesn't have a chance to go up when such more indirect tactics are done. They're too busy giggling, guffawing, and blushing, and happily, even enthusiastically seeking our flyers. Then only later to be fully jounced by the contents of our quote-unquote, info booby bomb, unquote, or in Hakeem Beyism, quote-unquote, poetic terrorism. Non-violent terrorism, that is. It's not really, yeah, anyways. It was a provocative word that I wanted to try out for a while. Would-be armored doors flung open at the look of the youthful type guy. A lot of people, by the way, thought I was like age 16 when I was about 31. And at this time I think I was 30. So would-be armored doors flung open at the look of the youthful type guy approaching them with funny face over his dreaded genitals, after their ears traced to whom the delicious orgasm cries emanated from. The armored doors open, we flung in our little crucial flyer info so-called bomb. Okay, irrational glory. At one point, we even engaged a young dude in the company of a crowd of smiling, armorless onlookers. These bewildered folks laughed when I asked the young dude if he would like to voice his own orgasm cry into the mobile loudspeaker. Of course, I'd been going down the line of onlookers asking each person. Though I was too wimpy to give him or any other young dudes our info. Seeing his smile did bring me to new heights of quote-unquote irrational glory. Found one of the main organizational activists along the way and hoped he'd join me, but I guess he was content with his spectating. His being there did inspire me a little more. Then there was the famous publisher of a certain journal who was driving some old car, going up to him to engage this alleged ally with my orgasm cries. He had not long ago basically forced himself on me at his home, and I didn't expect that to happen, but anyway. I was not prepared for his rude dismissal. Was he defensive? He told me to get out of here. I had actually thought he might laugh or offer to kiss my ass. Okay, I'm being facetious. Maybe he was just scared that I might out him. Well, I'd never do such a thing. But of course he wasn't going to take any chances. Challenges by officials. A homophile parade marshal asked me early on to get on the sidewalk. I did for a while but came back soon. Later, near the end of the march, while I happened to be walking on the sidewalk, he returned and threatened me with arrest by quote-unquote his friends, the famously fascist Minneapolis cops, if I didn't, quote, turn my goddamn bullhorn off right now, unquote, and, quote, get the fuck out of here, unquote. I submitted to his threats till at the end of the march, when I dared to speak quickly through the horn to the gathering gaze, etc. Listeners later pointed out that since I didn't pay the $10 fee, I really didn't have the quote-unquote right to mess with the parade and its obedient fee payers. While walking around the consumer extravaganza, a man approached me and my fellow marcher. He wore a t-shirt that was hand-painted with something about loving boys. Since gay streamers have totally co-opted the word boy, I remained careful with my words, and he with his. Anyway, it was he that brought up, with definite guts, the question of whether I included boy lovers. If anyone knows this guy, I would definitely like to get in touch with him. His first name, if I recall, was Mark. This solo non-silent activist self-starter probably never imagined that there could be someone else speaking up on that day. He turned out to be an ex-organizational activist now suffering 2 strikes against him, a third, and he goes to state torture chambers for the rest of his life. Another man approached me, but he only wanted to do some French kissing with me. We did. Walking back to our transportation, finally, a drunken woman recognized me and stated aloud that, quote, I must be a Republican for the way, quote, unquote, for the way I spoke up. Wow. I guess she was at a total loss to find a convenient category to dismiss me into, and thus more easily blur my humanity. Minneapolis is a hot spot for so-called Democrats and their left-wing fundamentalist froth. I'm not saying that the right-wing and Republicans aren't too. They're 2 factions of the business party, in my opinion. And that was what I used to think back in the 90s. Nowadays, I would say they're 2 factions of colonialism and neocolonialism. Alright, now here's one for you. The next time you get surrounded by hysteria or frothing media, try these anecdotes. Oh wait. Okay, when they assert their usual dogma, respond with, yes, yes, okay, you're right. The sun does revolve around the earth. Or, I am truly sorry. You're right. Black men are so clever. Imagine them actually loving a white woman. Or, quote, my math is suspect, Your Highness. As you know, the earth is quite flat. Imagine if we responded in ways like that. Okay, so that's the end of that march. I don't remember offhand what I did. I remember doing orgasm cries. I was like, you know, the like that and stuff through the bullhorn. That was a lot of fun, you know. And I'm saying, what if you create, you know, actions that are a lot of fun instead of getting stuck in the fear thing, and the you know, what the organizations do, they get stuck in that passive marching, the pacifist marching that you know, doesn't even take advantage of trying to communicate directly to people outside of the mediated media, you know. Okay, well, anyway.